Okay, confession time. I'm actually really excited about the week ahead because we just got a brand new HOH and it's probably the most chaotic option possible. This is totally going to be a polarizing week. I know a lot of y'all are really excited for it, but on the other hand, a lot of y'all are very nervous. Of course, I'm going to go into all the details and talk about all of that later, but before I dive into everything, of course, I'm going to ask if you would hit that subscribe button. The live feeds really are the best part of the show, and recaps like this are the best way to figure out what's actually going on in the game. So please make sure that you're subscribed, and if you are someone who has been enjoying my work all season, it really would mean the world to me if you would consider making a donation to my channel. I love watching the feeds and making this content for y'all, but it is a lot of work and it takes a lot of time out of my daily life. And donations from viewers like you really help to keep me going. But if you can't donate, then no worries, because subscribes and likes warm my heart all the same. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So as we just saw in the last episode, Katherine was just evicted from the house almost unanimously. This vote wasn't really a surprise at all whatsoever, because pretty much from the very beginning of the week, whoever was sitting next to Ava was set to go home. So once Katherine lost that blockbuster, we pretty much already knew that it was a wrap. In the end, Lauren was the only person who voted to keep Katherine in the game, which I thought was pretty ironic considering the fact that all of this is kind of Lauren's fault in the first place. This all really started last week after Lauren had won that veto. Rachel had warned that girl not to use it to save Vince because something bad could happen. And bam, just like that, Rylie gets put up and goes out the door. And then Vince, the person that she saved, wins HOH and just decides to finish the job by taking out her bestie, Katherine. So yeah, all of Lauren's game decisions are just unfortunately coming back to bite that girl in the ass right now. Overall, I think Vince's HOH reign was pretty similar to his first one, where he just seems to be playing like a more scared and honestly cowardly game and acting like he just cannot get any blood on his hands. And the fact that he still seems to be playing this exact same way and not seeming to learn or grow as a player at all just does not make me hopeful for his long game. Even if he does somehow manage to make it all the way to the end, I'm scared that he's not going to be able to get the votes because he's not going to be looked at as respected because he's been playing so scared the whole time. Keanu also just had a roller coaster of a week last week because all that drama between him and Rachel really did nothing but hurt his game. I mean, Rachel was really the only person in that house that actually seemed to care about Keanu's game, but he had tried so hard to get her evicted last week, only for him to turn around and get exposed in the end. Now, he did change his mind eventually after Rachel had to get in his ass a few times, and by the end of the week, he did seem to genuinely regret how he had treated Rachel and how he had tried to get her out a few days before, but at that point, the damage was already done. So heading into this week, Keanu was just in a lot of trouble with Rachel and with that whole Judges Alliance in general. So of course, it was very poetic when the feeds came on after the HOH competition and we discovered that Keanu has won and is our new HOH for the week. I don't know why I was never expecting Keanu to actually ever gain any real power in this game, but you know what? Hell yeah, let's have some fun, shall we? Apparently, it was some sort of memory comp too, which was really surprising to me because no shade, I really did not expect Keanu to be able to win a mental competition. But you know what? He shut me up, so I'm going to go ahead and give him his 10s for that. Also, Kelley apparently came in second place, and while having her as HOH would probably be equally as chaotic, it would also be a lot more scary to me because I know she would put all of my faves up. So now that Keanu is officially our fearless leader for the week, let's talk about what he might do. Because at first, a lot of us fans were nervous that maybe he might try to finish the job and go ahead and take out Rachel, but thankfully, we quickly learned that he has other plans in mind. Keanu first goes to meet with Ashley, and in this conversation, we can really kind of see where his mind's at because he pretty much immediately says that he does not want to see Rachel or Ashley on the block.
I mean, obviously, by extension, we're going to be working together too. You know what I mean? So, I mean, obviously it's in your best interest for both her and I to be here because we're both much larger targets than you, so.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah, so, obviously I plan on working with you guys.
And in this conversation, Keanu mentions a few other people's names too. He actually lists off everybody that he would rather keep safe this week, but he leaves out 3 names in particular, and that is Mickey, Morgan, and Vince. So pretty much right off the bat, we can already tell where Keanu's mind is moving. Things get confirmed even further when Keanu goes to meet with Lauren next, and he is going to start complaining about Vince to her and talking about how his weak move from last week is really messing up Keanu's game.
This game favors the bold, not the meek.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I love Vinny to death, but you saw it last week. He made a very meek, mild-mannered move, and now we are down one less ally. And, I love him to death as a person, but as a player, I can't turn a blind eye to it anymore. Yeah, I might have you, but you're only one person. You've gotten rid of 3 people for us, not even just me.
Now, all this was a little bit surprising to me because honestly, I did not think that Keanu was this anti-Vince. I mean, I definitely knew that things were bad because of that long-ass argument that they ended up having last week, but I didn't think that it had really pushed Keanu away this far. But all the credit of that has got to go to Rachel. Because even after everyone else had deemed Keanu a lost cause, Rachel was the only one consistently pushing Keanu to see the truth about Vince last week. It took multiple conversations and a shit ton of patience, but it looks like Rachel was finally able to make some progress. I gotta say, I don't remember Rachel being a master strategist by any means in her original seasons, but in this crazy ass cast, she is by far the strongest player. Keanu wanted Rachel out so bad last week, and now it looks like he's about to make the exact same nominations that she made when she was HOH. Oh, how the turns table. Eventually, Keanu is going to go to meet with Vince, and this is just another wild-ass conversation. Right off the bat, you can tell that Vince is really nervous, and at first, Keanu isn't really giving him any information or telling anything, but of course, Vince is going to keep on asking what Keanu is doing with his noms. So Keanu eventually reveals that Morgan is his target of the week, and Vince will be hitting that block right beside her.
I want Morgan to go home.
Are you thinking of putting me up next to her?
And the only reason that's even a consideration in my brain is because you're the only person here that would actually use a veto on her. And I want her to go home.
I won't use veto on her if you keep me safe.
Of course, this bad news is just going to send Vince into what I like to call beta mode, which is just his default when his back is against the wall. So Vince is going to try really, really hard to stay off the block, first by fake crying, and then by throwing out any name that he possibly can, and eventually he's just gonna start to beg. Keanu is telling him that he's mainly gonna put Vince on the block so that Vince does not use that veto on Morgan, and Vince is just swearing up and down that he won't, but at this point Keanu knows better than to just trust him.
You're the only one I get vulnerable with, and I tell you my heart, man, and I'm
I know,
sorry
man.
that I fucked up, and I'm sorry.
I know, it's not.
Continue to fucking stumble. You're the only one in here who's tried to pick me up and keep uplifting me. And if you put my game in jeopardy, I'm so fucking heartbroken, man. I can't handle that. I promise you, dude. I'm not gonna use veto.
Vinny, I don't. Look, it's not like I want to or anything like that. But like, you've consistently proven that your allegiance is with her, not with me. So.
Vince is not going to give up that easy though. He is going to continue to whine about being a have-not this week and being on slop and all of that, making him too weak to be able to win the veto. And after Vince is realizing that all the whining and begging isn't working out for him, then he's going to try a different approach, and that is to stroke Keanu's ego.
I told you, man, I want to work with you because you're the guy that I'd be rooting for. You're the guy I want to fucking be like. You're a few months younger than me, and I look up to you. You always pick me up. You're the one instilling confidence in me. Your words are the ones that I was thinking about when I was on that fucking wall. Sorry, I'm such a fucking bitch, man. Maybe I fucking suck at this game, then.
I just really hate that all this self-deprecation stuff is Vince's default tactic. It's just really hard to watch. Like, I get that the fake crying can be manipulative and it can kind of get things to move your way sometimes. But I also just want Vince to get up off the floor and get a little bit more of a backbone in this game and in life in general. Vince is eventually going to try to throw Rachel under the bus too by letting him know that Rachel is still wanting to target him after all that drama from last week, and saying that she even had this whole speech prepared and everything, which honestly wouldn't surprise me if that was true, but Keanu just isn't paying Vince any mind at first. And later on in the night, he's actually going to go and confront Rachel about it. Now, from Rachel's standpoint, she is coming into this conversation a little bit scared because she doesn't know exactly where Keanu's head is at. So Keanu is trying to ask Rachel about the speech and if she's still targeting him. And he's trying to ask her who all in the house still wants him out. But she's not really giving him anything because she still doesn't know if she can fully trust him yet. And I totally do not blame her for that.
And I'm not going to try to throw everyone under the bus. I don't know what you want me to tell you. That's not my style.
Well, then don't tell me that most people would put me on the block.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
In this conversation, Keanu is mainly just lamenting the way that he treated Rachel last week and saying that he does still want to continue working with her. So even though she chooses not to reveal too much information to him here, things still end on a good note and they still seem to be friends, for now at least. Now, the last person that Keanu goes to talk to is Morgan, and at this point, Morgan already feels like she's going up, so she's just trying to see what's going on. And Keanu pretty much just lets her know that she is going to be nominated this week because, again, that whole drama between him and Rachel and Vince.
The only two people that would know that I even wanted to come after her were you two in the HOH room.
But we never shared that. At least I didn't.
No, well, then you just gave me a reason to put Vinny up.
Well, no, but you didn't either. There's people that I knew that thought that you were looking at Rachel regardless. And maybe that was just because of your guys' tiffs that you guys have. Because there was a lot of times where you guys would have those public tiffs and people would just be like, yikes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everything in this game is perception.
Now, if we're being honest, Morgan isn't necessarily guilty of running information back to Rachel the way Keanu thinks she did, but he still has other ammo against her and plenty of reasons to put her up from stuff that happened weeks before. Keanu has just been suspicious of Morgan in general for a few weeks now, all starting with that big fight that happened between them and Mickey. I mean, at this point, most of that is just kind of old news now, but it is still relevant since Keanu has such strong feelings against Morgan. So at the time of this conversation, nominations still haven't happened yet, and there are still a lot of people in the house that Keanu still needs to meet with as well. But as things stand right now, it looks like Morgan, Vince, and Mickey will still be hitting that block. Now, Keanu did mention Ava's name as a possible fourth nominee, so if anything different does happen, it's not impossible that Ava's name won't be on that screen. But overall, Keanu does seem to be pretty locked in for now. So that's all I have for today. Of course, I want to know, what do you feel about Keanu being our new HOH, and what do you think of his nominations? Let me know in the comments below. Like I said, I'm really excited for this week because it kind of does feel like anything is still possible. Like, yes, Vince and Morgan are the targets for the week, but they also have a lot of numbers behind them, so Keanu might run into a little bit of trouble there, and all of that will just be fun to see as well. Of course, I'll be back here later this weekend to update you all with what happens with the power of veto, but until then, bye.